Welcome to another edition of our Engineering for the New Reality podcast series, where we're talking to our engineers about topics that are most relevant to today's virtual normal. As companies go about building new applications and features for their customers, the one thing that they cannot compromise on is testing. Testing is complex, it's massive, and in this new normal, it's made things even more complicated for engineers. How do test automation platforms need to adapt to the changing business needs? And how can the LTTS Cogmation play an integral part in saving time and money for testers? To talk about this, I have with me Roshan Manuel, who heads our Cogmation and Test Automation Engineering at LTTS. Hi Roshan, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi Akshay, I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you. So Roshan, in this new normal, how have the testing needs for companies evolved? What are they doing differently now when in comparison to a few months back?
Thanks, Akshay. That's a good question. Look, I'm a test automation expert. Earlier, a lot of emphasis was given for efficient way of testing, and it's been happening for some time now, and which is for both manual and automation tests. So the redundant activities were set to be automated for faster time to market and efficiency. But with pandemic around, there are a lot of restrictions and challenges with respect to unavailability of testers in office, devices which cannot be shared across the globe, and head-end data connectivity. So you see there are a lot of problems here. So which is why there's a new surge for need for remote testing for both manual and automated testing. This is where a tester can sit at home and run the tests which is connected to the device which is in the lab, and while tester can sit in across the city and execute all the tests.
So Roshan, talk to us about Cogmation. What is Cogmation and what are the kind of functionalities that it can test for and automate?
Cogmation is an automation tool. Cogmation means cognitive automation. It's a robot frame based tool with APM and UI Automator integrated to have a wide range of coverage for all kinds of mobile applications and OTT applications. So here, Cogmation has advanced audio video analyzer built into it, which checks for wide variety of important parameters of audio and video. The biggest USP of Cogmation is when compared to its competitors, which in the market, Cogmation is way ahead of its competitors when it comes to audio video analysis. This helps Cogmation to perform end-to-end testing for media applications. We also have done good progress in RDK middleware, which helps us testing wide variety of devices and applications. We are also working on supporting embedded systems and applications. This is useful for industrial automation, which is a huge market now for automation. We are also moving into IoT testing, which also includes gateway testing, and also this also helps us get into networking space. Cogmation also has a strong presence in automotive infotainment system. We are releasing a new build on this soon. And so as you see, by second quarter, Cogmation will be getting into most of the segments in the LTTS verticals.
So Roshan, as you highlighted earlier, a lot of companies and test engineers have transitioned into a remote style of operation. So how can Cogmation help testers who are working remotely?
As I mentioned earlier, there's a greater emphasis for remote testing due to pandemic situation across the globe. With testers and developers not working from, who are not just working from home, they're spread across different places in the globe. And Cogmation helps them test the application sitting at home efficiently. The user will have access to all the devices which will be connected to the cloud. And because Cogmation sits on the cloud, Cogmation can ensure devices can be efficiently managed for testing and development.
So Roshan, the need of the hour is to do test automation for several medical and high-tech devices as well, right? So does Cogmation's capabilities extend to any device, or is it limited to a few specific industries?
Look, Cogmation, when it started, it was started for mobile applications and mobile devices. And slowly we moved on to different segments. We are also into now industrial automation, automotive infotainment system. We are also getting into IoT space, and now we are also working on using Cognition for medical devices and medical applications.
So, Roshan, how can Cognition help testers save time? For a company that is looking at launching a product to the market in the fastest and most economical manner, what are the kind of time and cost savings that Cognition can bring about?
Cognition is a keyword-based testing tool. Here, testers can quickly write new tests even if they don't know scripting skills. Keywords are nothing but functions with parameters which can be used to run tests. For example, to launch an application, a tester can use keyword called launch application and enter the application name in the parameters and run the Cognition. Cognition in turn will go look for the app from the app menu and launch the application. It's that easy. So if there are new keywords to be added, that can be done too. It's very easy. We have about 150 keywords already built into Cognition, which makes testers' life easier. This saves a lot of time because in automation world, development of test scripts takes a lot of time. One can automate about 90% of mobile application tests. That is, for example, if there are 1,000 test cases, that would take about 20 man days or 4 man weeks to execute the tests manually. With Cognition, you should be able to execute all the tests in 4 hours. It gets worse if you have multiple devices. For example, if you take an example of Amazon Prime, which runs on different Android devices and iOS devices. So when there are different flavors of operating system, Android operating systems, and different manufacturers, so the permutation and combination runs up to huge numbers. Imagine running 1,000 tests on all these devices. It would be a nightmare. Cognition can make it easy here. You can have all the devices connected to Cognition and mounted onto the rack, and Cognition can finish tests on all the devices and give you a report in 4 hours.
So, Roshan, there are a lot of test automation products in the market, and when companies evaluate a product, they would typically do it for parameters such as performance, use case coverage, flexibility, customization. So, how does LTTS rank in comparison to the other products in the market?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So, I'll give an example. Cognition is a very good tool. Recently, there was evaluation for a customer, and there were 10 different tools from different companies which were called for evaluation. Cognition was one of them, and Cognition was selected for in the top 3. The other 2 being the industry leading tools such as Falcon from Tata Elxsi and Stormtest from Accenture. So in that evaluation, Cognition beat these 2 tools on performance, on flexibility, on customization, and Cognition won the project. So this shows how good a tool Cognition is for application testing.
Could you talk to us about the different kind of business models in which companies can get started with Cognition?
Yes, so there are 3 different business models for companies to get started with Cognition. One is testing as a service. Here, LTTS will do the feasibility study, understand the application, the requirements, and then LTTS will develop the test scripts, write keywords if it's necessary, and then executes the test. So that's one model. Second is one-time automation and handover. What this means is LTTS does the feasibility study again, it develops the test script and the keywords if necessary, but it executes the test once and hands it over to customer to continue executing the tests. So customer can execute the test as much as he want or continue add to the tests. It's up to him. The third one is only to licensing, where LTTS will set up Cognition, train the customers to write test scripts and how to execute them, while customer will write the test scripts and execute the tests in his lab. So these are the 3 models.
Thank you so much, Roshan. This gives a fascinating overview on the possibilities that Cognition has to offer. To know more about the LTTS Cognition platform, do visit our website at www.ltts.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.